Hi, this is Dewari with Uniquely Average Gamers, and we're continuing on with our strategy guide for Crota's End. This video is going to cover the second encounter of Crota's End. This is going to be the bridge event. Now I'm doing this on the PlayStation 4 with my guild, the Ebony Hawks. We're going to show you how to do this fight, and this fight is pretty challenging. You're going to need a lot of coordination and communication with your team, so we're just going to kind of dive right in. Now, it's important to note that all this footage was shot at about 4 o'clock a.m. Central Time, an hour after the expansion dropped, so we went into this blind and figured out a strategy that worked well for our clan. If you have minor tweaks that optimize your setup, by all means, use that to your advantage. Now, your primary objective here is to get 100% of all your alive players to the other side of the bridge and have them defeat increasingly difficult waves of enemies on the opposite side of the bridge. Now, you need to pay attention to the layout of this arena because you're going to notice on both sides of the arena you're going to have circular platforms. The one in the middle will start to construct the bridge. And then there's two on the sides that have above them two pillars. They're going to be very, very important. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. Now, our strategy involved designating one person to be on bridge construction duty. We had our defender do it because he could throw up his bubble. Alternatively, you could use a Sunsinger, but we used our Sunsingers for a different purpose throughout this fight. Now, whomever you designate to stay on the middle platform and construct the bridge, they only have to do that until 3 people have made their way to the other side of the bridge. That side has its own bridge summoning pad, and one person that has made their way across will be designated to begin summoning the bridge on that side. This will allow the people on the starting side a little bit more reprieve from the different adds that are going to be spawning. Now, to actually initiate the fight, you need to begin constructing the bridge, and this is done by having simply one person stand on the platform that constructs the bridge. Once the bridge begins its construction, 2 things are going to begin to occur. The first is, Hive is going to start spawning and you need to kill them. And secondly, and I would argue definitively more importantly, you're going to notice that the 2 pillars on both sides of the bridge platform are going to begin to charge. Now they're going to start glowing bright red. And if they get their charge full, then they're going to explode and your raid wipes. It's over. It's done. So you need to stop the 2 pillars from charging, and there's an easy way to rectify them. What you need to do is have one person stand under each pillar. If they're standing under the pillar, it will not charge. Now, they can move out of it for a brief moment because it's not going to be instantaneous. So you do have a little bit of reprieve because you might get a couple thralls coming at you. So don't be afraid to step out, but make sure you get back in. If you are standing underneath the pillar, it also reverses the charge, so you can bring it back down to neutral. You're also going to start seeing a very powerful knight begin to appear. He is the sword bearer. Now, the sword bearer is going to have a lot of health, so it does help to focus fire him down. And once he's down, he's going to be dropping his sword, and the sword is the key to this fight. One person needs to pick up that sword. The sword is on a timer. I believe it's about 35 seconds. I could be wrong there. But once you have the sword, you need to book it across the newly constructed bridge. You are the only person who can cross that bridge. If anybody else tries to cross that bridge while it's on fire, they will die. And it's pretty much always on fire. Now, once you're on the other side of the bridge, you have a very crucial duty, and that duty is to kill the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper is essentially a blue Hive Knight, so he's pretty easy to spot. One thing that's very important to note about the gatekeeper is that he is invulnerable to all damage except the sword, meaning if you do not kill the gatekeeper, he's not going away. And it's very, very difficult to take down a previous gatekeeper if you're fresh over there with a sword because you will also have a gatekeeper to kill on your own. So, get over there, prioritize the gatekeeper. You're going to notice other adds spawning as well. And so the people on the other side do need to defend themselves from these adds. So you're only going to have one person at first, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. So we recommend having your Sunsingers make their way over there first due to the fact that they can self-resurrect. More sword bearers will spawn, so you pretty much just kill them, have the next person pick up the sword, and run across. Repeat that ad nauseum until you get to 3 people across. And as we mentioned before, that's when the people who have made their way across the bridge can begin to construct the bridge from their side. This will allow the people who are on the starting side a little bit more reprieve, because remember, there are less of them. There's only 3 people left over there, so the sword bearers present that much more of a challenge. This will allow them to focus fire down the sword bearers as well as group up for buffs to each other, or perhaps some weapons of light. Sweet, delicious weapons of light.
That is magical and full of brain. Yep, go for it.
Guardian down.
Now you're going to notice something about the shape of the other side of the arena. It's shaped like the uppercase letter E. So there's 3 hallways that you're going to need to pay attention to. The hallway on the left is going to spawn multiple adds, the hallway on the right is going to spawn multiple adds, and the hallway in the middle is going to spawn multiple adds, but that is the only hallway that the gatekeeper will spawn from. Again, the gatekeeper will only come from the middle hallway. So if you don't see him as you're running over there, run into the middle portion of the arena, you should see him. Now the adds that spawn from the left and right side tend to be a lot stronger, meaning that you're going to see yellow-healthed knights and yellow-healthed wizards. We call them elite. I'm pretty sure there's another term for it, but you get elite wizards and elite knights that pop up. It does help to focus fire them down, because remember, the primary objective of the entire match is to get to this side and defeat all the waves of enemies. So, as you start getting more and more people over, it's going to be more difficult for the people left on the starting side. But a good thing is that you do not necessarily need all 6 people over on this side. If only 5 of your players are alive and the 6th one is dead and sealed on the other side, you can still progress through the fight as long as you can defeat all the waves once you have 5 people on the other side. So, it's not huge if someone gets left behind. I mean, it does suck to be them, but it's not going to wipe your raid. Now, if you're the 4th, 5th, and 6th player to make your way across the bridge, you can pretty much just start floating around and defending the most relevant area. Meaning, if you find a lot of pressure on the left pillar or a lot of pressure on the right pillar, you can float over there and start giving them a little bit of support. As long as you have one person in each designated area, you'll be fine. Now, as you're defending these different areas from the hive, don't be afraid to throw a couple rockets or sniper rifle shots back over on the starting side of the arena, because they're going to have less and less people, and they're going to be fighting off sword bearers and adds, so it's going to help take a lot of pressure off of them to give them a little bit of support every so often. Give them some pot shots if you're running low on things to kill on this side.
I got the wizard on me. Yep, I got a wizard on me.
Alright, now pro tip, as soon as 100% of your players have made their way to the far side of the bridge, you are no longer beholden to summoning the bridge, which means get off that platform, because that effectively takes the pillars out of the fight and that mechanic is removed. At this point, your job is to stay alive and defend yourself from all of the different hive that spawn. I recommend grouping up so that way you can take benefits of things like Song of Flame, if somebody's using that, and then also Weapons of Light, more importantly. Because as always, Weapons Light is going to be handedly the best DPS output you can get in a raid, and you need to be killing adds quickly, because that means you're just going to get to your loot faster.
I do, but I need someone to cover my shit. I just put out some rockets over there. I think I got a couple of them.
Guardian down.
Alright, group up. We don't need the bridge anymore.
Now, as you near the end of the final wave of enemies, you're going to notice the enemies getting increasingly difficult. You're going to start to see a lot of elite enemies spawn. You're going to see elite knights. The elite knights can either be melee-based sword wielders, or they can be the ranged AoE knights that use that weapon that's totally not the brute shot from the Halo franchise. Now, there's also going to be elite wizards spawning. This is where your fire weapons are going to come in handy. Take down the shields and focus fire down the wizards. The wizards are incredibly pesky because they have strong AoE damage, they can trap people inside their AoE cloud, and then they can also summon thralls, which is pretty much just going to be an annoyance. You shouldn't have too many knights and wizards up by the time the final capstone enemy spawns, which is a giant ogre. focus fire down the ogre, and things will sort of fall. The dominoes will just kind of fall from there. As you finish this fight, you should feel proud because it's not really a small feat. But you did earn the loot, so enjoy it.
Booyah! Booyah, baby! Boo fucking
Alright,
yeah!
well, sorry you just heard me go ape shit as we beat this, but
got the
at that
boots.
point it was 4:50 a.m. and there was nothing but Red Bull pumping through my veins.
Congrats,
Anyways,
you
that's just
fucking
one
racing guys,
strategy
dude.
that can be
was
used to
well
employ the
fucking
bridge.
executed.
We hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a like, comment, or a subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section. We'll be very prompt to answer them. Again, this has been Dewari with Uniquely Average Gamers. Check us out on Twitch at Uniquely Average Gamers, or check us out on Twitter at UAverageGamers. We got a lot more Destiny coming up, and we hope to bring you all to the end of Crota here soon. Take it easy.